Did someone say something to me? Someone asked why am I starting the stream early? Did someone mention Crosswind chaos? We got a good stage in the Tour de France, guys. Stage 7, Tour de France 2020. After 2 boring days, I don't know how many boring days we've had so far, we got action from the fucking bell when the Christian Prudhomme put that neutral flag, or whatever he called it, put it down after the 7K neutral zone. Bora Hansgrohe, we're not messing around today. I'll cut to the PCS graphic in a second, but boy oh boy, if you just tuned in now to the race, or if you missed the start, you probably missed the most exciting part of the race. I'll fill you in on what's happened. We'll give it a bit of an overview of what's happened so far up to now, with 67.4 Ks to go. If you want to sync up to my stream, now 67.3 Ks to go. Okay, so as you can see in this profile here, you see in this profile, there was a category 3 climb, maybe 9 kilometers from the start of the stage. Very unusual to have a climb that close to the start of the race from the neutral zone. And by the way, I should probably fill you in on the race situation. Like literally right now, there's 66.9 k's to go. Thomas Gent is on his own in a breakaway. He's 28 seconds ahead of the peloton, which contains Peter Sagan. All the GC favourites are in the peloton in that first group, and then there's a third group on the road containing Sam Bennett, the green jersey holder, and Case Bowl and Ewan are in like a fourth group even further down the road. So I don't think, Sam Bennett's group is not coming back, but all the GC guys and Sagan and co are in this second group, and it's now between between Thomas de Gent, who's gaining a bit of time on them with 31 seconds. Justin B, cheers to the Canadian 5. Skip the ad. What ad? Are there ads that play on my videos on the live streams? I didn't think the live streams had ads before them. Anyway, so what happened on the stage? If you missed it, we thought this would happen. I was pretty excited to see this happening. And I expected something like this to happen, maybe not so early. So no breakaway went initially, and then Kosnefar went because he wanted to get that the KOM points over that first category 3 climb of the day. And then Bora Hansgrohe put their whole team on the front and just started shredding the group on that climb, at the base of that climb. And I said crosswind chaos, but it actually was probably more the climb and Bora catching people out that dropped people. Sam Bennett held on for a bit. Ewan got dropped immediately. Case Bowl got dropped. And some people asked me on Instagram, they're saying, Lanterne, why are Bora Hansgrohe pacing at the start of this stage? Why are they doing that? And the answer was, you can see on the graphic, about 55, 57 Ks into the stage, that little S symbol, that intermediate sprint, they were trying to drop Sam Bennett, and they successfully did so. Drop Bennett from that group so that Sagan could basically have an uncontested run at the intermediate sprint points. Ewan, Christoph, Nizzolo, Wout Poels, Case Bowl, Mads Pedersen got dropped. So the fact that Mads Pedersen got dropped indicates to me it was more the climb than the crosswind that dropped those riders. Kosnefar did end up taking the points. Bora just kept riding though until the intermediate sprint, and then Matteo Trentin jumped early actually for CCC and took the 20 sprint points, and Sagan came second with 17. I actually thought Trentin kind of cut off Sagan again, so we'll see if the commissaires have anything to say about that. Then after the intermediate sprint, it was unclear to me whether Bora Hansgrohe were going to keep pacing or not, or they've been pacing for like 120 kilometers at this stage with 64.4 Ks to go, and no one's really helped them consistently. No one helped them immediately. I thought CCC should have been helping them, given that they've got GVA and Trentin here, but they didn't really help them. And the sprinters now left in this group are Sagan, Wout van Aert, who's the favourite to win this stage, by the way, Wout van Aert, Jesper Stuyven, Clement Venturini, sprinter for AG2R, Trentin, Colbrelli, Hofstetter, who just had a crash, but seems to have made his way back, and Luca Mezgec for Mitchelton Scott. So it became pretty quickly apparent that despite coming within 30 seconds or so of the Sagan group, the Sam Bennett group, despite having Tim de Klerk, Casper Askren, etc., they got within 30 seconds and they just couldn't get across. And then that gap just expanded out as Bora kept driving it. Daniel Oss has been doing magic work on the front for Bora Hansgrohe. But yeah, that's what's happened in the stage so far. Let's see. I've missed a fair few of your comments. What have you made of the stage? Apparently, the reason why I started this stream a little bit early is that I wanted to, yeah, apparently there's going to be more crosswinds with like 50 kilometers to go, so I wanted to make sure we're all warmed up. You've got your little fingers, warmed up. You stretch your fingers out so you can mash keyboard, so you can mash the Naira Quintana in green emojis if you're a channel member at 50Ks when we know Naira Quintana's going to get into that first split. Hold on, I just need to fix something. Alright, that audio should still be fine. If it's not, then you can sue me. Sam Barrel, cheers for the €5. That's 100,000 Australian dollars. All I see is Naira and green memes, emojis. So a lot of people were asking me as well on Instagram, Lanterne, does this constitute something more serious than Crosswind foreplay? And it's hard to say really because was it really the climb that split them, rather than the crosswinds? I would say it is a step above crosswind foreplay, and it was some actual genuine physical touching from the crosswinds rather than just, some verbal warming up. So yes, but not necessarily crosswind chaos or carnage either. At the moment, it's still Bora Hansgrohe pacing on the front, but they're quite tired. And I have to admit, I'm pretty disappointed in the other teams. Right now, it's 62.8 kilometers to go. The gap to Thomas de Gent has gone out to 42 seconds, and Daniel Oss is kind of pacing slowly on the front for Bora. Jumbo Visma have now moved up with Robert Hessink on the right-hand side, 62.6 Ks to go. You can see on the stage profile, they're about to come onto this descent, pretty gradual descent for the next maybe 18 kilometers. There is supposed to be a cross tailwind, but it's not particularly steep. It's not particularly strong wind, like 20 Ks an hour. So yeah, I think the fact that Daniel Oss is on the front pacing right now suggests to me that this gap to de Gent is going to keep growing, although they have been on a climb as well, which would have suited him. So I expect the peloton to claw back that gap on this sort of long gradual descent. Charlie Howe says, the commentators said that Sagan does not even look at the stage profiles. Do you believe that? No, that's clearly not true. People think, like, just because he does a couple of wheelies, that Peter Sagan is like not a professional or doesn't somehow take the Tour de France seriously. And that's an example. Doesn't look at the stage profiles. Like he's won 7 or 8 green jerseys. That doesn't just happen. He's won 12 Tour de France stages. You better believe Bora looked at that stage profile this morning and were like, okay, this is the plan. We're gonna drop Bennett. We're gonna get back into the green jersey. Peter Sagan is now once again back in the green jersey. It's the virtual green on the road. Right now I can see they're not Shetland ponies, but they're quite stocky horses. I'd be interested to know what breed of horses they were on the side of the road. You don't see those sort of horses in Australia typically. But yeah, de Gent is still fresh. And Bora aren't pacing too hard. It actually looks pretty chill in this group right now. It's not even strung out anymore. Astana have come to the front with Schenko's second wheel. Adam Yates is pretty much on his own, apart from Luka Mezgec and a couple of other Michelin Scott riders, I think. He's got no Yeah, he's got no Nieve, but I guess Nieve is no help on this sort of stage anyway. Wout van Aert is actually the favourite in the stage in the live betting, by the way. So Wout van Aert is the favourite for the stage now. He's at $2.80. I think that's a little bit short for a couple of reasons. I don't have any interest on this stage, by the way, because instead of working and making real money, I'm talking to you guys because it's more enjoyable than just sitting calling Betfair to place in play bets. But if there's crosswinds in the next 20 kilometres, then Wout van Aert is going to have to shepherd. He'll be the primary rider shepherding Primoz Roglic around for the rest of this stage. Tony Martin's not in this first group. As I mentioned, I think in the Chris Froome non-selection video about how Ineos were going to try in different parkour to actually gain time. The reason I'm really excited for this stage is because I think Ineos are going to try something if there is a genuine crosswind, and also because Team Jumbo-Visma are not as good in crosswinds as people think they are. A lot of people made fun of me and said, "Oh, you're saying a Dutch team can't ride in crosswinds?" It's like, go, Peters. Tony Martin's never actually been that good in crosswinds. He's got a good engine, but he's never been at the forefront of races with crosswinds. He's a TT specialist. He's not necessarily that good in riding crosswinds. He got dropped and he was the wrong side of the split today. I think one of the big problems for Ineos is that Luke Rowe, I don't think, is in this first group. So, yeah, that's kind of a spanner in the works if that was Ineos' plan. Vikram Venkatesh says, how much of an advantage does a mullet provide in the crosswinds? Well, if you get the luft just right, then, Vikram, then, it actually disperses the wind a little bit better. It kind of acts like a natural version of the POC Tempo helmet. So, yeah, I would say mullets are quite aerodynamic. Who's been on the front the entirety of this day, pretty much? Daniel Oss. He's got that hair poking out the back of the helmet, so I'd say that's case in point. Point proven. Daniel Clarkson says, how do you not get blacklisted on betting sites, or is cycling less controlled? I am blacklisted on betting sites with Betfair as an exchange, so they, like the ASX or the FTSE or whatever, they just make the markets. They don't ban people for winning. 58.7 kilometres to go. If you want to sync up to my stream, 58.7 kilometres to go. Thomas de Gent is on this sort of downhill section now. Still a pedaling downhill, obviously, with a 46-second gap to a Bora Hansgrohe-led peloton, but Bora are not chasing too hard. B&B Hotels Vital Concept were helping them a little bit, but not too much. They were obviously riding for Brian Coquard, their sprinter, who's never won a World Tour race, I don't think. Caleb Ewan is right now trying to not miss the time cut. I don't even know where he is. He was obviously my and Benji's pick for today, but that has flown out the window. Henderbomb says the horses are Camargue horses. Interesting. I'll note that for future reference. Julian Sanford, love the channel, great work with the £5 donation. Thank you, Julian. I appreciate it. It's been a lot of work getting up to speed in the first week of this tour, but I'm kind of in a better rhythm now, and I'm feeling better now. So, if the racing is good, I can just go. I don't need to sleep. But when it's that sort of race 2 days ago, not the one yesterday, because I thought it would be exciting, and then it was a letdown. But yeah, Julian, when it's the race 2 days ago where I didn't stream, I was like, I cannot bring myself to stream today. No one needs to hear me speaking, or even really watch this until the last 3 kilometers. William van den Abele says Alaphilippe is in the top group. He is. Who is the best domestique in the tour right now? Says Pierre-Etienne Plourde. It's hard to say. Best mountain domestique is Sepp Kuss. Best flat domestique, probably Luke Rowe, maybe. Tim de Klerk is good at controlling things, but I don't know, is he good at getting you out of a sticky situation if you need a 2 kilometre acceleration? the gap is coming down a little bit, 43 seconds, 42 seconds now with 56.7 k's to go. Maybe we're going to get crosswind blue balls again today if the crosswinds are not so strong. It's southeasterly crosswinds, so you need ideally a cross tailwind is what you want to have like proper echelons. Connor Launder says you're going to analyse Tom Pidcock's performance with Baby Giro in the coming days. Yes, I said that in the Alpha League video yesterday. I'm waiting for the mountaintop finish today, so we'll see how Pidcock goes on that mountaintop finish at Baby Giro, and then I'll do a video on Baby Giro. Right now, it's our boy Leonard Kemner on the front. Shout out to Kemner, fan of the YouTube channel and fan of the Jesus German Instagram montages, which we all know and love. Richard King says, did Pidcock win that mountaintop finish? Did he win? How much by? What was the time gap? I haven't seen. That's the thing, people always talk about, it's difficult to really market these smaller races. I'm telling you, that Tom Pidcock video, when I put it up, is going to get a lot of views, more than like a average World Tour race, because sport is about names and superstars, and he's well known in the UK and even in Belgium and Holland because of his cyclocross stuff. So, Tom Pidcock thermonuclear attack on mountaintop finish in Baby Giro, we're looking at a lot of interest. Whereas stage whatever it was 4 of the Tour de France, Schnoozefest. Jura Osredka says, with the €5, how do you like this Slovenian Open National Championship up so far? Yeah, it's good to see Slovenia doing so well. Obviously, Pogačar and Roglic were 1-2 on that stage. I think Pogačar is going to win the. You can quote me on this. I think Tadej Pogačar is going to win the white jersey off Peter Sagan off Egan Bernal this year in the Tour de France. I like the way Pogačar looks compared to Bernal. I didn't like the look of Bernal yesterday on that stage. I thought, as I was going to sleep, I had some pretty harsh thoughts about Jumbo-Visma, but I kept them to myself because press office has always been pretty good to me, but B, because I don't know how Koos and co felt. Like Koos lost time, so maybe the domestiques didn't really have the legs, but I thought Jumbo-Visma should have taken advantage of Bernal's weakness, which I thought was pretty self-evident yesterday. And Jura, I think Pogačar is going to do really well in that time trial on Planche de Belfi too. He's got that engine. Vuelta was harder than people thought last year, and he won 3 stages. So, it had crosswinds, it had difficult stages in that Vuelta. It was quite a stressful race. And I think Pogačar is going to win that young rider's jersey and get on the podium. Welcome back, Matthias Oberbosch from Holiday. Oops says, any big names dropped? There have been no big GC names dropped right now. It's starting to fan out a little bit as they're going to take on this left turn with, I got 53.6 k's to go. But yeah, no big names have been dropped except for the sprinters, Sam Bennett and Caleb Ewan, obviously. Thomas de Gente's gap has been eaten into. I think teams were jockeying for position a little bit because this is where allegedly the crosswinds are really supposed to start soon. He's got now a 27-second gap with 53.3 k's to go. I don't think he's winning this stage at all. People in chat are telling me that Tom Pidcock won that stage by 30 seconds today. So thank you, Tom Pidcock, for providing me with additional content because obviously I can't make Tour de France content. We're on the waters today. No Diet Cokes. I haven't been able to get down to the shops to get that 6-pack of mini Diet Cokes yet, so just a bit of water. Corey Potter asked for top 3 prediction in GC. Primoz Roglic and Tadej Pogačar, and probably Bernal, to be honest. Probably Bernal. Maybe Guillaume Martin, who knows. I think Carapaz looks terrible, to be honest. Sivakov obviously is like borderline, having to abandon. Kwiatkowski Castroviejo and Van Baal are fine. They're looking good. Amador's not up to it in the mountains, like, really. He's good on the flats, obviously, and probably good in the crosswinds, but yeah, Ineos team's looking pretty weak, to be honest, and I'm not sure it's anything to do with peaking for a third week. Tadej Pogacar, as I mentioned him, I just put the curse on him. He's changing his bike. This actually could be not a... Oh, sorry, he's getting a rear wheel change. They got rim brakes, though, so it should be a pretty quick change. Not a great time to have it, 51.9 k's to go. The peloton is driving it reasonably quickly, and yeah, you don't want to be working in a crosswind on your own, even if it is a gentle one. But he does have the convoy of cars. Does anyone know what tyres Tadej Pogacar runs? Because they seem to not fucking work and puncture every time when no one else is getting a puncture. So maybe, yeah. Owen Seeley says, "What about the time cut for the rear group, Caleb Ewan?" Now that is a good point. This is not a mountain stage, obviously, so the time cut percentage is is lower than on a mountain stage where they get more leeway, sometimes up to like 35 minutes. So they're like, I haven't seen a time cut for quite a while. It's not showing on PCS on my screen, and it's not showing on the Tour de France. The Tour de France broadcast. I haven't shown it for a while. It's 5 minutes 52, 5 minutes 50 to the Sam Bennett group. But yeah, apparently it's like they're going to be out to almost 10 minutes at this stage. Rockhopper 01 with the $5. And any analysis of riders comparing a normal season's prep to this year's prep forthcoming? Will we be surprised by any riders for the remainder of the Tour de France? I don't really think so, and you can see there is crosswind right now in this chase group, in the green jersey group, the way they're rolling over each other. There's a crosswind to their right-hand shoulder. But I don't really think there is, because the GC riders don't really need racing to prepare for these races. GC riders don't really need races if they know what numbers they need to be at. Yeah, it's ideal if they have a couple of tune-up races, but if they don't, and they're not coming back from an injury or something like Froome, Tadej Pogacar's made his way back into the peloton, by the way. For example, if they were in a 1 week race and they had a stage like yesterday or the day before, sorry, the stage 5, Primoz Roglic and co, they would have lost fitness on stage 5. Nico Roche mentioned that. They would have lost fitness. So these guys often train harder than some of these Grand Tour stages and maybe in some of these warm-up races. And maybe that's why we saw Roglic and co riding the Tour de l'Ain and Dauphiné so hard, is they needed to get that final tune-up in. So no, to answer your question, Rockhopper, I don't really think we'll see any massive surprises on GC. Even the sprints are kind of the same old names too, to be honest. Maybe, yeah. Lutsenko's looked pretty good. Vlasov has been the big revelation, but he was looking pretty good at the start of this year too. Welcome to the Lanterne squad, Matthew K. Make sure if you're a member and you join membership, or if you want to join the Discord, check the community tab for the link to the Discord. Not all of you are in there. That's where we chat, etc. Thomas de Hent's gap has gone back up to 35 seconds. The gap is 48.5 k's to go. Daniel Oss still pacing on the peloton. Ineos are presenting at the front now with Mikhail Kwiatkowski. Jonathan Castroviejo is there too. Maybe just making sure they're in good position in case something does happen. Deuterated Dad says, given Carapaz's performance, I wonder if Ineos are regretting leaving Thomas off the team. Well, Thomas would have crashed out on stage 1, so I don't think so. If there's no crosswinds, not sure if any of you like to play in the little live bet markets, but if there are no crosswinds and it's pretty chill and Jumbo-Visma don't really have to do too much work, then and Roglic doesn't need protecting, then Wout van Aert has to be the heavy favourite for this the final sprint. Trentin and Sagan are like not even close to his level of sprint ability right now. You saw how he gapped, like the way he gapped them off his wheel when he beat Case Ball on the line, just not even close. And I think Wout van Aert's had a pretty cruisy stage too. Nizzolo's been dropped. He's like 10 minutes behind in the Ewan group. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thomas De Hent, 42 seconds ahead of the peloton, 47.2 k's to go. Sam Bennett's group, 5 minutes and 42 seconds behind. Nizzolo, Ewan, Christoph, Case Bowl, they're all way behind, 10, 11 minutes behind. Matthias Oberbosch says he said in an interview in his victory that his team won't let him go for another sprint again because he has other duties now. Yeah, but he says that, but then this stage is shaping up perfectly for him to have a risk-free opportunity to contest the sprint. Maybe the only reason he might not be able to is because there's no Tony Martin in this group to shepherd Primoz Roglic. Davide Formolo just got squirted on by Hugh Carthy. Never thought I'd say that. Not sure how I feel about it. Daniel Loss pacing on the front pretty gently. Movistar coming to the front on the right-hand side. Movistar obviously crosswind specialists after last year in the Vuelta. They're actually coming over the top of Ineos, actually. This could be Jumbo Wout van Aert's coming to the front of the group as well. I think, is there a feed zone or something? I wish they'd tell you whether they were coming through to feed zones because you never know whether a rider is like moving up, trying to get to the right side of the road to protect, to start driving it in a crosswind, or if they're just going to get a bit on. Adam Yates does have a couple of teammates. He's got at least Luca Mesquets there. I'm not sure which other. I saw another Michelin rider, so he's got at least two teammates. But Nieve and Chavez, I don't know where Chavez is, to be honest. And right now, I'm looking at some sort of town in France. So, yeah. B&B hotels. Pacing, it was a feed zone that they went through. Wout van Aert is back on the front. George Bennett's coming up on the other side, trying to get to him. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say whether Wout van Aert will be able to contest the sprint, but it's George Bennett pacing right now. Sepp Kuss has kind of been left on the wrong side of the road. He's trying to go over the top of B&B to get there to the his other riders. 51 seconds now the gap to Hent. I don't think he'll stay away. I think there's too many teams that should be incentivized to chase him back, not just Bora Hansgrohe. Wouldn't it have been amazing if FDJ had brought Arnaud Démare to this Tour de France? Like, I'd bet he would have been in this front group, but they didn't. How many listens do you think on the podcast player we are getting on the on sort of between the podcast players on the podcast in 24 hours per podcast? We started it 1 week ago. That's not including the YouTube vids, which get like 6,000 views in the first 24 or 48 hours. How many plays do you think it's getting? I mean, if I was Thomas de Gent, this wouldn't have been my pick to go on the breakaway. I wouldn't have picked this stage. I would have saved the legs for a different stage, I think. Um, no, it's 5 to 6,000. 5 to 6,000. So like the Alaphilippe yellow jersey one, that's going to do like a fair few more than that. The one yesterday a little bit less because it was boring again on Monday. Well, Matthew Shortall got it. Was the closest. I think Lance's podcast gets so many though. Lance's podcast gets crazy amount of listens from the Americans. And Jumbo Visma are pacing on the front a little bit. There's a little bit more spice in the front of the peloton right now. Movistar actually in the gutter just behind George Bennett. FDJ got a ride on the front as well on this short downhill section. We've got 43.6 k's to go. If you want to sync up, 43.6 k's to go. They're showing the green jersey group, which is it's kind of sad to see that green jersey slipping away from Sam Bennett. He was the one pacing on the front for a while. I was kind of surprised that the combination of Bob Jungels, Tim de Klerk, and Casper Askren weren't able to bring it back. I feel like they got it close. They got it to like 40 seconds, 30 seconds, and then no one helped them, and then that kind of paid for this group. Tony Martin and Luke Rowe will be, they will be not happy that they missed that split. Hugo Hofstede has made his way back into the peloton, thankfully. Ali Martin, has there been any talk about you joining ITV's commentary team for the rest of the tour? Is the time difference too much of an issue? Well, my deal doesn't include that extra work, so they'd have to come with some money, I guess. But yeah, no, there hasn't. Is the short answer to that. But next year, some would say I'm not a particularly humble person, and I'm not going to disagree with them. I always back myself. You have to, given that not all the comments on the internet are particularly friendly. But I'll hold that thought. But next year, I think I'll be doing live comms or something on TV with some broadcaster in the UK, US, or Australia. Ineos have come to the front right now and look to be driving it on the right-hand side. Jumbo Visma on the left-hand side. Kind of a beautiful symmetry, actually, in that overhead shot. They're split by road furniture down the middle of the road, so it's train on train, split by that road furniture. Andre Amador on the front for Ineos, 41.7 k's to go. John Hyde says, any chance of a video recording to go along with your podcast? Yes, that is in the works. It's just that I've been going to bed at 5 a.m. So that's just like an extra 40 minutes of work, that just makes it harder. So it's on the list, but we'll maybe on the rest day, me and Benji will figure out how to make that workflow work, or whether to use Zoom or what. But yeah, I agree. The YouTube videos probably do need a video recording, but we've just been trying to focus on the quality of the audio podcast for now. But yeah, we'll get to it. 41.3 k's to go. That gap, that little acceleration from Ineos and Jumbo Visma ate into the Thomas de Gent gap. It's now 31 seconds. Castroviejo now pacing on the left-hand side for Ineos. Dylan Van Baarle on his wheel. I think Leonard Kamner in the middle for Bora Hansgrohe. On the front is either George Bennett or Hessink. Can never tell the two apart for Jumbo Visma. And yeah, this is going to be the death knell for de Gent if they keep riding like this. The gap has gone out to above 6 minutes to the Sam Bennett green jersey group. Eric Guzman, buenos dias. Eric's woken up. Is it too early for you LA people? What time is it in LA, Eric? Any chance we can hear you sing Naira Man again? If Naira Quintana gets in, if there's a split, which there doesn't look like there's going to be another split, but if he does get in a split, and he will be in that first echelon, I'll go off. But yeah, I'm hoping Naira does something. And I know, like, Matthias says there's a crash, and Matthias is a little bit ahead of us, I think. He's not synced up. I'm being shown a football stadium right now, so there's been a crash with the Bahrain McLaren riders. I'm not sure if it's Landa. Does it look like? Doesn't look like Landa to me. It looks kind of like Peyo Bilbao. It's number 66, which is Matej Mohoric. So would he have been their guy in the sprint today? I don't know what happened there. The pile up with three Bahrain McLaren riders. Bit weird. Okay, there's actually Crosswind. There is something happening now. You know, Ineos. I told you Ineos are going to look to do something. I know they're missing Luke Rowe. Maybe the wind isn't strong enough, but Ineos are trying to put people in the gutter right now. I think, or they were at least trying to stay in good position with their riders. Simon Mather, cheers to the 5, brother. Appreciate it. Keep it up. I'll keep it up. I'm feeling re-energized by this better stage today. It's kind of like if I was the TV producer right now, there isn't like we all know, you all know watching right now, like we don't need to see the Bahrain McLaren guys um, drafting the back of their team car. I couldn't care less. I want to see what's Dylan Van Baarle doing on the front. I want to see a consistent 2 minute shot at the front so we understand the dynamic of the front of the peloton, what people are doing, who's pulling for how long, etc. And they've cut away from it the second time that Dylan Van Baarle's gone to the front. So the gap is now 18 seconds. I assume someone's driving it. It is Ineos on the front with Dylan Van Baarle. They're on the left-hand side of the road, their left-hand side. Maybe they're going to try and gutter people. Jumbo-Visma are right there. Andre Amador, second wheel. Kwiatkowski and Castroviejo, third and fourth. What are your questions? Boffin Tim says, why is Sivakov in Ewan's group? Sivakov should abandon and just focus on Welter. Sivakov is really badly injured. I don't even see the point of him doing this to himself anymore. He can't contribute in any way to this tour. Sean and Masha Hennessy says, in bed with my girlfriend and having such fun watching you. I mean, whatever floats your boat, whatever you need to get you going. I'm glad you enjoy the live streams. I've been enjoying them a lot the last couple of days. Still Dylan Van Baarle on the front. It's 37.9 Ks to go, Moritz. 37.9 Ks to go for the Sync. Now 37.8 Ks to go. A 15-second gap to De Gent. He is doomed right now. And they're showing trees. But yeah, Dylan Van Baarle's obviously driving it pretty hard because they've now taken that down from 32 seconds to 15 seconds to Thomas de Gent. Still Van Baarle on the front. Astana are kind of looking a little bit frisky there, running for Miguel Angel Lopez. As I said, I was kind of surprised Thomas de Gent went on the attack here. Bit of a weird stage to do so. I thought with on all the climbs, de Gent was gaining time on the peloton, but there just weren't enough climbs. You look at the profile, you guys can see it just there. He was always going to get brought back by either Ineos or the sprinters teams. Cofidis are now coming up the middle. They're protecting Guillaume Martin, who I like to get a top 5 in this year's tour. Bora Hansgrohe are kind of split right now. Jesus. The Rona. De Gent is now in the sights of the peloton. I don't think the wind is strong enough for Ineos to do this, though. We're on kind of a little rise, though. It's a little rise. That's not going to really hurt the GC contenders, though. So, Stefan Roden, welcome to Super Domestique level for Lanterne membership. I think definitely, it's 100% clear that Ineos, the plan in the team bus today was, okay, in the last 50 Ks, we're going to try and split it if there's any little tickle of wind. So that was clearly the plan. I'm not sure the wind was strong enough, is going to be strong enough for them to really create a meaningful separation. But the thing is, Roglic is just terrible in crosswinds, so this is the best place to try and gain time on Roglic. Maybe they're just getting in position for a feed zone. Who knows? 36.3 Ks to go. The sync up 36.3. Do you all remember that Nairo Quintana gained 5 minutes on Primoz Roglic in stage 17 of the Vuelta a España last year on a crosswind stage, the one won by Philippe Gilbert, averaging over 50 kilometers an hour for 219 kilometers. Nairo man only came like 50 seconds behind Gilbert and 5 minutes ahead of Roglic and most of the other GC favourites. So Nairo man, yeah, he's a crosswind specialist. That's what he is right now. You saw him in Paris-Nice 2020. Van Baal's pulled off kind of early, actually. I'm actually pretty surprised, 35.8 Ks to go, that Van Baal wasn't able to flick through the other Ineos riders and rejoin at the sort of the fifth wheel in their train. It's quite narrow. You see these roundabouts, etc. In crosswind stages, you remember, I think I did the... it's all usually out of roundabouts that crosswinds, can really cause a split because it gets put in single file. You see how there's single file right now, 35.4 Ks to go. Then Kwiatkowski will probably slide over to one of the sides of the road, to the gutter. If the wind is coming from his left-hand shoulder, then Kwiatkowski will be on the right-hand side of the road and just give enough space to Egan Bernal. Second, you see how Kwiatkowski, I think, is trying to split it right now? Jumbo-Visma. You see Wout van Aert, actually, this is a moment in the race, guys. Wout van Aert is talking to Roglic, pointing at him, telling him where to go through. Wout van Aert is the most important rider for Roglic right now, and this is probably not going to be great for Wout van Aert's sprint chances. If he, this is what I was talking about, right? He's going to be tasked with shepherding and protecting Roglic in this crosswind section. Remember that Fabian Cancellara, or I can't remember that video I did, but yeah, where Cancellara out of a roundabout, single file, just fucking hit it, and that was GG's. There's splits already occurring. I see two UAE runners, but it's not Pogačar. They're on the wrong side of that split. Kwiatkowski causing damage. This is some good crosswind action. This is what we came to see. 34.3 Ks to go. What a fantastic race it's been today. The profile didn't look particularly exciting. It's another quick step rider riding on the front, actually helping. Is that Alaphilippe? Alaphilippe riding on the front. But yeah, Wout van Aert was always going to be really, really important for Primoz Roglic, because you look, Robert Hessink's already been dropped. He's in the wrong group. There's a genuine split. I'm looking for GC favourites. I can't see anyone immediately that rings out as a GC favourite in this group. But you never know where Thibaut Pinot might be. Eric Guzman, cheers for the $5. Great use of shepherd as a verb. I use shepherd all the time. Now that you've heard it and called it out, you probably notice it a lot more. For Education First, is that Jons Kukulera? The Education First rider, second wheel behind Julian Alaphilippe? Or is it Bettiol? Adam Yates has come to the front. He's in good position. He's just looking after himself, Yates. He's pretty self-sufficient. And, yeah, he's making sure he's at the front. The wind doesn't look that strong, though, It doesn't look that bad, to be honest. It is coming from the left-hand shoulder. And Jumbo-Visma aren't really riding to gutter anyone. They're kind of riding defensively right now. Eric Guzman, cheers to another 5. He's a bit heavy on the trigger finger today. Will you please make an official announcement if and when we enter the hallowed zone of Crosswind Chaos? We got Crosswind Chaos right now, officially. We got 3 different echelons from this reduced bunch already. We've got people jumping over road furniture. I'm not sure who's actually... I think Pogačar... Is that Pogačar? I see a very white jersey. I think Pogačar has been he's on the wrong side of a split, so Pogačar's been dropped right now. Pogačar and Lanterne in that second group. It is definitely Crosswind Chaos right now. This is what we thought Ineos were going to do. I like to pat myself on the back quite a lot. It's Carapaz, I think, driving it on the front. Egan Bernal, quite good in crosswinds, actually, with the gel in mouth driving it. Who is the Education First rider, second wheel? Bernal's actually got in front of them. I actually, full disclosure, I have $20 on Egan Bernal to win this stage at 1,000 to 1. Just because I'm a complete degenerate. And I kind of thought this sort of thing would happen. I thought, oh, well, what if it's he's actually got a pretty good kick, and what if it's like a Froome and Bodnar Sagan situation at the end? You see this is Pogacar group. Daniel Oss is on the wrong side of the split. Simon Mather, welcome to the Lanterne squad. This is a good stage. The other Michelin Scott rider that was there is Luka Metzger, so the sprinter, he's been dropped. FDJ driving it on the front, so Pinot is in this group. And everyone's working right now. So a lot of the other teams, given that Pogacar's dropped, Pinot and FDJ. Pinot's on the front riding over. He has to work. Roglic will work because Pogacar is a genuine top podium favourite. And this is a chance to really eliminate Pogacar. You see Julian Alaphilippe working hard. Wout van Aert's going to roll over them as well. This is what happens, guys. It's no one helps, no one helps, no one helps. And then it's the first guy to have a puncture at the wrong moment or to be on the wrong side of a split. And then all the GC teams fully commit to just eliminate that one rider and pick on him, and that's what seems to be happening. I did say I like Pogacar to take the white jersey, but yeah, he's in the wrong side of that split, and this is not a great moment for him. 30.1 Ks to go, exactly 30 Ks to go. If you want to sync up, 6 minutes 52 to the Bennett group. Greg Van Avermaet was actually on the wrong side of that split. Justin B says, with the Canadian 5 donation, says, G'd up. I'm not G'd up, I'm G'd up! Because this has probably been the most exciting stage so far. GC movement when there's crosswinds, it really doesn't get much better than that. 29.6 Ks to go, 23-second gap from the peloton or the first echelon to Pogacar. I don't see how that Pogacar group is going to bring them back. Not looking good for Tadej. I assume Nairo Quintana is in this first group. Egan Bernal's there, Roglic is there, Yates is there, Thibaut Pinot is there. He's got, FDJ guys working for him. It's really Pogacar's the main guy who's missed that split. He's got Davide Formolo in front of him. Benji Nyson with the €2, the 10-hour podcasting incoming. Benji, are you writing down all that's happening? Because I'm going to forget this. There's too much happening. The gap is 31 seconds to Pogacar, so that gap is growing very, very quickly. Castroviejo on the front again for Ineos driving it. You can see the wind is coming from their left-hand shoulders. There shouldn't really be another split right now because he's not really guttering anyone too much. There'll be a Nairo Man song. There'll be a Nairo Man song if we see him roll over at the front. 28.6 Ks to go. I'm watching a delayed picture, Tom Enduro. It takes a while to get it down to Australia. I think the strongest domestique in this race so far, all-around domestique, has been Mikhail Kwiatkowski. To be honest, Miguel Angel Lopez is there, Lutsenko is there, Carapaz is there, Nairaman is there. Obviously at the front, Egan Bernal. Roglic, I've seen not in good positions, but he's still there nonetheless. I don't like where Roglic is putting himself in this group. He should on that right hand side there. I don't like it. Bernal is in a better position. Roglic is trying to move up right now. Igita probably trash in crosswinds as well. Ivan Sosa, who's not here, was trash in crosswinds. 41 seconds the gap to Tadej. So this is what can happen, guys. People were saying, why were Ineos trying to ride yesterday with 8 Ks to go? That's not enough time to make a meaningful gap. Well, look what they've done in 5 kilometers. It's a 41-second gap to Tadej Pogacar. It's expanding at 10 seconds every kilometer. Sebastian Reichenbach has been dropped in that group. Thomas Skjern's in that group as well. I think Christopher Juhl Jensen, Thomas Counts, welcome to the Lanterne squad. Check the community tab for the Discord link. Graham Henderson is calling out that Tom Dumoulin has missed that split. Mads Pedersen is in the Caleb Ewan group, so he's 12 minutes behind. Richie Port's been dropped as well. See how much money I'm losing not being able to live bet because I'm doing this live stream. Tom Dumoulin is not going to get on the podium in this year's Tour de France. at all. Kwiatkowski's doing such a good job in this crosswind. Peter Sagan is there looking pretty good. I think the fact that Wout van Aert is having to work for Roglic is playing into the hands of Sagan, and he's kind of becoming the stage win favourite for me. Koos and co. Koos looks like he's struggling a little bit in this crosswind to hold the wheel. People were asking in chat, 25.9 k's to go, they're asking in chat, is this William Bonnet? What makes a rider good in crosswinds? And first, it's just positioning is most important. Firstly, yeah, you got to have the power, but having good positioning is first. You can have all the power in the world, and if you're not good at positioning, even with a good CDA, you'll get spat out the back. So, yeah, it's positioning in the echelon, just hitting that sweet spot, being able to roll through. So, like being able to do a sharp 15-second turn and then roll back, recover. I'd have to show a power file, I guess. Kwiatkowski now riding on the front. I'm not sure the wind is so strong, really, at this point. I feel like it's with 25 k's to go. I feel like the wind has died down a little bit, and they're now just rolling turns because they've got that gap on Tadej Pogačar, which is now 47 seconds. We got 1,000 on the stream. Sorry, I forgot to check. We're breaking 1,000 every night. It's pretty good. It could be better. It's pretty good. I think the live streams are quite hard to find. Like the notifications don't always get sent out, and they're quite hard to find. I will be doing Joe, my producer at ITV. I said to him, "Hey, Joe." I said, "Listen up, Joe." No, I didn't. I just sent him a WhatsApp. I said, "When this stage finishes, send me the full stage file. I don't care how long it takes to upload." I said to him I said that to him before the stage started. He said, "What? What's going to happen today? Doesn't look that exciting. There's going to be nothing on GC." I said, "Joe, Ineos going to do something, Joe." Here we are. So, it's Geoblock to the UK. I got a little thumbnail of those Ineos riders at the Crosswind split with Ineos Crosswind Chaos. That's just like literal pornography to the UK viewers, I guess, and myself, really. Jumbo-Visma are now pulling hard turns. I think they view correctly Tadej Pogačar as a genuine GC threat. I mean, he is. He got podium on Vuelta, so you got to take these opportunities to bury a GC rival. They're doing that. The gap is 51 seconds to Tadej Pogačar. Yes, Nairo Quintana. Nairo Quintana is in the first echelon. Shout out to Ian Hearn in the chat. The boys down in Melbourne, they got a hard lockdown in Melbourne. Ian, Will, and Jackson, also complete degenerate gamblers like every Australian male under the age of 30 years old. I hear silence from these guys. They don't watch my cycling content. All my mates from school, then Tour de France rocks around. It's like, who you got for this stage, Lanterne? I'll say, I got you. Astana pulling on the front for Miguel Angel Lopez. Miguel Angel Lopez was very, very big long shot for the overall general classification, but very, very short odds for the top 10 on GC. And I guess, he's just consistent in the mountains, and, he's in this first echelon, top 10 on GC, probably looks pretty handy for him. Oh, no. 22.1 k's to go, 22 k's to go, 54 seconds the gap to Pogačar. That keeps growing. Pogačar could lose 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes today. Hey, Will, where's my Eddie interview? Where's my Eddie Maguire interview? If you want to support the channel, consider joining channel membership through the join button down below if you're on desktop, or drop a super chat if you want your question answered, or a super sticker if you enjoy these live streams and want to support the channel. It's my full-time job now. I quit my job as a lawyer before the Tour de France started because it wasn't going to be feasible to live stream at 12:46 in the morning till 2 a.m, then record a podcast and a video afterwards, then go to work. So living the dream now. and then Scott Morrison wouldn't let me leave to get in the right time zone. But hey, Tour de France is actually happening this year. Are you surprised that it's happening? I feel like Corona's not even been a story this week. I'm scared to even mention it. Like, it seems like we've all forgotten about it. It's been a welcome relief to just think about the race. And yeah, from a selfish perspective, just having a sports event to focus on and obsess over, oh, who should go on the break or who's going to win that stage. Just been really good for me mentally, actually. Harry Guzman, why do I get scolded for saying crosswind foreplay, but then call this stage literal porn? Although it is figurative porn. Well, I guess in the UK it is porn, what Ineos did in this crosswind. So I have to call it as it is. That's the reason, Eric. 20 Ks to go exactly. The gap is 54 seconds to Tadej Pogacar. I haven't seen him, but you guys have reliably informed me, and you're usually more correct than I am, that Richie Porte has been dropped as well. Number 127 for Cofidis is hanging on at the back of this group. That's Pierre-Luc Perrichon. And who's that? Andre Amador. Okay, I thought it was Carapaz. It's Jonathan Castroviejo. The crosswind section is pretty much finished now, guys, and it seems to be just Castroviejo driving it on the front, trying to really drive home that advantage for Ineos over Tadej Pogacar. KDA, welcome for the to Super Domestique level. KDA, massive supporter of the channel. Elite domestic cyclist in America. Katie is. Thanks for the support for the channel. Reese with a spoon. Lanterne with the appreciation. Cheers to the Australian 20. You maybe appreciate cycling so much more from a triathlete. Winky face. Hey, that's what thanks, Reese. I appreciate the support. But yeah, all the messages like that from you and people just messaging on Instagram being like, oh, I never understood cycling. I liked it. And since your videos, I found it and now it's a lot more interesting. But yeah, it's a two-way street. Because I've learned more from my comments and live chat than you have from me, I think. Like, I've learned so much about cycling just from, the comments, from everyone around the world, different people in different style of races, people in different countries. I've learned so much, and that's why I've improved really quickly, because I've got that. Whereas if you're a Tour de France commentator right now, unless Landa's been dropped. Sorry, Victor Beltran, Landa has been dropped. Martin Van Hatten says Carapaz had a mechanical, and Ineos are not going to wait for Carapaz, nor should they. FDJ driving it really hard because obviously Carapaz is kind of like a 5th, 6th favourite in the Tour de France. 18 Ks to go. I'm not sure. You guys must be way ahead of my stream. I must be a little bit behind you guys. I didn't see that Carapaz puncture. Maybe I was too busy talking about myself and how good I am. 17.6 Ks to go. The gap to Pogacar's group is holding stable, but the gap to Bennett's group is really increasing. Jackson Starcevic, notable degenerate, has pretty much got his whole bank account riding on my Wout van Aert pick for this for the finale. So let's hope for his sake that Wout van Aert is let off the leash to actually contest this sprint. I'm a little bit concerned that he's had to protect Roglic and he might not be able to contest it, but hey. By the way, do not sync up with the PCS number. You want to sync up with my verbal 17 Ks to go, 16.9 Ks to go syncs. The PCS one lags a little bit. Heiko Osterman says, what sprinters are left in the peloton besides Sagan and Van Aert? We see Carapaz trying to make his way back now on his own with 16.7 Ks to go. That's going to be pretty hard for him to do because FDJ are driving it really hard on the front. I can't even see the peloton in front of him. And what sprinters are left? It's Sagan. I assume Stuyven was there. I don't know where Trenton is. Wout van Aert is in that group as well. Sepp Kuss is driving it on the front right now. The best male American rider in the world. Although very nice performance from Quinn Simmons in Tour de Hongrie, Queen stage, coming second on that stage. He did like 500 watts for like 10 minutes. Astana are driving it really, really hard as well. They're doing a great job. I'm not sure who it is on the front for them. One of the Izagirres is there. They're riding for Miguel Angel Lopez. George Bennett's now pulling on the front for Jumbo Visma. So Peter S says Trentin and Greg Van Avermaet are in the second group. Reese with a spoon. What's your next race in Brizzy? I'm actually in Sydney, so until Palaszczuk lets me back into Queensland without having to go to hotel quarantine, I'm stuck in Sydney. Unfortunately, wasn't the plan, but I didn't want to go to hotel quarantine and stream from there during the Tour de France. Carapaz, I mean, good luck to him trying to make it back. I don't think he has any chance of doing so. Apparently, Clement Venturini, the sprinter for oh Jesus, bit of indigestion. The sprinter for Ajdoua Le Mondial is in the front group. He's pretty handy, but I can't see him beating Peter Sagan in a sprint like this. So really, the three main guys are Stuyven, Wout van Aert, and Peter Sagan. People are saying Bosenhagen, but Bosenhagen, no. Florian Bonnard says Ugo Hofstetter. Brian Cockard, I think, might still be there. Those guys are just such a level below, though, Sagan and Wout van Aert. Caleb is about 15 minutes behind them. And there's some sort of chalet they're showing. Quite nice work from FDJ. I got to say, I criticise FDJ a lot, but they've looked very good. They've come to the front. They've done the right thing. They've looked good on the flats, even though they've got a really climbing heavy team. I'm not sure if I haven't seen Stefan Kung on the front for them, who would have been awesome for them to have on the front. But yeah. Benji Nicely with the €2 says Cosnefroy got combativity. Wait, what? They gave Cosnefroy the combativity. That is so stupid. It should be Bora Hansgrohe. Ineos have dropped back a rider to maybe help Carapaz. They've dropped back Castroviejo. I don't agree with that because Carapaz is not a genuine threat on GC at all, so this is a waste of time. I don't really agree with this. He's going to have to let Carapaz die on the vine, apparently. Will Ralston says, who in this race would you get a beer with? Not many. None of the World Tour riders are particularly engaging people. Probably Leonard Kamner. I like Leonard Kamner. 13.1 Ks to go. The gap is 1 minute and 4 seconds to Pogacar. Maybe he will lose 2 minutes today. Paul Ellis says, Os got combative. Well, that's who should get it. It's getting strung out again. I can see Julien Alaphilippe is in front of Sergio Higuita. Wout van Aert is now... Oh, no, it's Tom Dumoulin. Is Dumoulin in first group? Adelia Cunningham says, did they send Castroviejo back to help Carapaz? Yeah, they did. I don't really see why they did because Carapaz, he already lost time, I think, on stages. He's looked terrible so far. I don't know why they have done that. They really need to be making sure Bernal is kept safe. Although I don't think there's really any crosswinds left. So, yeah. By the way, I see Brian Cockard talking to people in this first group. Sergio Higuita is there. By the way, Wout van Aert is not driving in on the front for Jumbo-Visma, so that suggests to me that he's going to contest this sprint. Wout van Aert is, it's George Bennett and Koos who are chopping off with FDJ and Astana and Izagirre, rather than Wout van Aert looks to be back in the mid-pack, hopefully resting and to contest this sprint so Jackson can pay his rent next week. Benji Nyssen with the €2 apology. His last message was fake news. I mean, I don't mind a bit of fake news, to be honest. Thanks, Brian Cronin. Appreciate that kind comment. 11.1 Ks to go. Astana on the front. FDJ helping them out. Adam Yates has looked very comfortable. Adam Yates is, he's someone who can hold the jersey for quite a few days because he just doesn't really make too many mistakes and rides efficiently when he wants to. Sergio Aguita's coming up on the right-hand side, trying to get onto the back of the Education First guys. Eric Guzman with the 5. Wouldn't you share a shimmy blue label with Wout van Aert? Just consider that hair. I mean, I like Wout van Aert as a rider, but I think he's a nice guy. He probably wouldn't be the first guy I got a beer with. Probably Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski's my favourite rider, just about. Yeah, all Nairaman. Just me and Nairaman with a full language barrier, not being able to speak to each other, just nodding in mutual respect for two global phenomena at the top of their game. 9.7 Ks to go. The gap is going out about 10 seconds a kilometre to the Pogacar group. 9.6 Ks, 1 minute and 21 seconds from the peloton to Pogacar. Let's see if there is crosswind and whether through this roundabout as it's strung out, they try and split it again. But I don't think so because, to split it usually, that's not, there won't be another split. And you know that because the riders driving it at the front don't have their team leader right in their pocket. And usually, so they're not going to actually try and split it. Whereas when Ineos went to the front, they had Bernal and Carapaz in their pocket. Because, if they go in the guard to drive it, then they're risking their GC guy, Pinot's, 5-7 riders back, getting on the wrong side of a split. So, and also when you see multiple teams driving on the front sort of mixed in with each other, it's not one team's train, you're less likely to see splits as well. Nairo Quintana is nicely tucked in behind the Ineos guys. He's stayed safe all day. 8.4 Ks to go. Well, I think Wout van Aert is the favourite for this stage right now. Still should be the favourite. He's had a little bit of a rest the last 5 or 7 kilometres. FDJ have taken up a lot of the work, and Astana are driving it on the front. Kwiatkowski's now coming back to the front, and Bennett and Koos. I got to say, a lot of people talking about Sepp Kuss about, how good he is, and he's great in the mountains. On the flats and, on TT, he doesn't look that good. He's more, pure climber guy. Eric, cheers for $250 US. That's like 3 Diet Cokes. Would I get a beer with George Bennett? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't go out of my way. Not a very sociable person, Eric. Jumbo-Visma back on the front with Bennett and Koos. Speaking of George Bennett, Eric. Bennett on the front, Koos second wheel. And they look like they're fully emptying the tank. Koos looks like he's actually on the limit right now. I was just speaking about himself on the flat. KDA and Amanda were talking about women's cycling. Yeah, by the way, you people asking, maybe wondering why I didn't do an ITV video about La Course. Trust me, I tried to both do a preview video using 2018 or 19, we asked ASO, hey, can we use the course footage from 2018 and on a YouTube preview video before the race to promote it, have it ungeo-blocked, and we can take it down afterwards or whatever. ASO said no. You have to have it geo-blocked to the UK, and then for ITV, for them, it's like, well, what? It's not going to get many views. So that was a shame. And then, yeah, I wanted to do one for Lizzie Dignan's win. I did try. So, yeah. Graham Henderson, cheers for 2 tequila shots with Sepp Kuss. Actually, yeah, that's something I would want to do. Kyle, that's something I would want to do, Graham. Kyle Morrison is the only person who's actually hit on what I'd actually want to do, which is nose beers with Luca Paolini overlooking Lake Como after a treacherous 80 kilometre an hour descent down a one-lane Italian road from the Brunate climb, or down the Poggio. So yeah, that's about it. Kyle Morrison, and then we go straight into some gelato with Rico. The man, the myth, the EPO legend, Rico, now owns an ice creamery in Italy. 5.7 k's to go. They've kind of slowed down a little bit on the front on the peloton up this climb. It looks like they're getting caught. 1 minute and 13, the gap to Pogačar. Bernal is still in this front group. I'm trying to see number 215. Just making sure that it's Cyril Gautier. Kwiatkowski's still there. I don't know where Carapaz is. I presume he's still in no man's land. 5.4 k's to go. No spoilers in the live chat. Make sure you sync up. 5.4 to go. They're coming to the end of this last little rise. FDJ driving it super hard. Who's on the front for FDJ? Is that Madua? I'm scanning. I can't see Carapaz. Hugo Hofstede is right at the back of this group next to Wout van Aert. Wout van Aert's at the back of this group too. 4.9 k's to go. Carapaz is losing time. Carapaz has gone back to the Tadej Pogačar group, so he's a minute behind the Egan Bernal group. I've got no idea why they dropped back Jonathan Castroviejo. That seemed like a waste of time. I guess they had to try, and yeah. Pogačar will be losing the white jersey to Egan Bernal today, that's for sure. 4.4 k's to go. It's still Sepp Kuss on the front, and now Tom Dumoulin is bringing up, I think, Primoz Roglic. I'm trying to see where Wout van Aert is. Dumoulin's on the front. Wout van Aert is second wheel behind Dumoulin, and yeah, maybe they're just keeping Surely they're going to keep Roglic safe and then let Wout contest the sprint, because as sprints go, this is not a dangerous one in a reduced bunch, and there's not going to be actually many sprinters there. Sepp Kuss now getting dropped. 3.9 k's to go. The gap is 1:17 to Tadej Pogačar. Still FDJ on the front driving it. Adam Yates is mid-pack looking fine. Higuita, he's eating a lot of wind all the time on the side of this group. Wout van Aert is looking very comfy. They brought him from the back of that group pretty quickly. Although how awesome would it be to see Primoz Roglic lead out Wout van Aert? Maybe they're going for Roglic to get the stage win, but that doesn't make sense because Roglic is not going to beat Hofstede, Sagan, and Stuyven in the sprint. So it doesn't really seem that won't work. I think what's going to happen is Dumoulin will lead out Wout van Aert. Roglic will just be chilling, and he's just on Wout van Aert's wheel because, I still think they're going for. They're just trying to keep Roglic safe. Then there's the last chicane, and then, but yeah, I don't think Roglic is going to be able to get the time bonuses, right? 2.7 k's to go. Roman Bardet, I almost forgot he existed. I don't know what group he is in. FDJ driving it on the front. How good was it to see Age Dual yesterday saying, job done, after the stage? It's like, guys, you missed the break and you didn't attack on GC. you should have. That was a stage that Romain Bardet could have won if you got him in the break, if you'd made him lose enough time earlier. 2.3 Ks to go. No spoilers in the chat. Astana on the front right now. Roglic has now come off the wheel of Wout van Aert. He's now sitting mid-pack. He should chill into the finish. I really would doubt he'd be contesting for the time bonuses. I still think they're going to let Wout van Aert sprint. They should. I don't know who FDJ are driving to just make sure that Pinot's safe. Pinot's actually second wheel. I don't think he needs to work too much. Pinot, I mean, it's great getting this gap on Pogacar, but he doesn't actually need to put his nose on the wind. Eddie Bosenhagen, I think, is there for NTT. Igita's mid-pack. Adam Yates is safe. Quintana's there. But the sprinters we were looking for is Hugo Hofstadter for Israel Startup Nation, Brian Coquard for B&B Hotels Vital Concept, Wout van Aert for Jumbo-Visma, and we've got a little rise right now, actually, that FDJ are driving it pretty hard up. Peter Sagan, obviously, for Bora Hansgrohe. The Bora team have worked so hard all day. He's about 7th wheel. I think Wout van Aert is like 6th wheel. Yeah, Wout van Aert is 6th wheel. Wout van Aert is definitely going to be contesting the sprint. Bosenhagen is there. I think Peter Sagan has gone onto Wout van Aert's wheel. 1.2 Ks to go, 1.1 Ks to go. A little chicane as they go under the Flamme Rouge. Pinot is second wheel. Maybe Pinot wants to sprint for the bonus seconds, but that's delusional. I'm not looking at the live chat. No spoilers. Please show the front of the race. Please show the front of the race. Wout van Aert next to Edvard Bosenhagen. Sagan is marking Wout van Aert. Bosenhagen, I think, he's just next to Wout van Aert. Egan Bernal is on the wheel of Kwiatkowski on the barriers. Maybe they're going for the time bonus. Jesper Stuyven has just gone in front of Sagan and nearly chopped him. And Wout van Aert is actually a little bit boxed in next to Peter Sagan on the rails. It's opened up now as they go through this corner. Edvard Bosenhagen is getting a lead out. Jesper Stuyven on his wheel. Brian Coquard to the left hand of Jesper Stuyven. Cofidis right on the right hand side. Might box in Wout van Aert. Julian Alaphilippe starts sprinting from the left-hand side really early and opens up. Wout van Aert is trying to go through the middle, but Jesper Stuyven might box him out. Wout van Aert onto the rails to the left-hand side, and Wout van Aert wins the stage. Let's go! Oh. Got a little bit overexcited there. Apologies. Alaphilippe sort of putting his hands up confused me. Woo! Easy money sniper. 1, 2, 3. Wout van Aert, baby. Woo! Jackson can afford to send his 10-week-old border collie puppy to doggy daycare next week. We're providing money. We're providing a free money service in the Lanterne Rouge live streams for the boys and girls. Girls can be degenerate gamblers too. Now we're seeing... Oh, nearly just... I shouldn't do that for my vocal cords. We're seeing how much time Tadej Pogacar has lost. It's now 1:10, etc. Pogacar sprinting on the front of this group. He's going to lose about 1 minute and 20 seconds to the Bernal group. A very, very disappointing day for the for UAE Emirates and Pogacar. I think Tom Dumoulin did a nice job actually leading out Wout van Aert. Remember in stage 1 of the Criterium du Dauphiné, Dumoulin did a very nice job actually leading out Van Aert. And I was worried Wout van Aert would get boxed in by that Cofidis rider, but that was easy. Easy. Where did Sagan come in that sprint? He was not even there. He was like 8th or not even top 10. That's like for him to not get the points, kind of, yeah. Wow, able to posture up at the line. Where did Egan Bernal come? Egan Bernal was like top 10, wasn't he? Was Egan Bernal top 10? As I said, I had $10 or $20 on Egan Bernal at 1,000 to 1, and he's like not that far off in that sprint. So like Bernal actually on the flat is a pretty good sprinter. Jackson Starcevic, You guys were saying, why are these people donating money to this man with a double-sized forehead talking trash? And it's because I make people money. If you listen to the Lanterne. Nah, my picks have been pretty good, not going to lie, but I'm sure they'll go downhill from here on in. The case ball one, I'm a little bit nervous about the case ball one. Eric Guzman, is that how you sound when you finish? Yeah, pretty close, to be honest. I mean, I'll get a sound recording. I'll put it at the end of the next podcast. What do we think about Peter Sagan not coming in the top 10 in that sprint? Pretty surprising. We had over 1,200, 1,300 in the stream. Whew. You know what I want? Any feedback on my call of the sprint? Do you think I did a good job in the last kilometre? How does that compare to normal broadcasters? I think I did a pretty good job, actually. I'm watching the overhead shot right now. So it's Bosenhagen second wheel, and then Alaphilippe kind of cooked everyone. Alaphilippe came off really early onto the wheel of one of the Ajdoua Le Mondial riders and slid up his wheel, and he went around the NTT rider. Bosenhagen was sprinting really early, Stuyven in the middle, and Wout van Aert. Those guys all banged in the middle, and Alaphilippe, that's why he was putting his hands up. Wout van Aert then started sprinting on the right-hand side. Brian Cockard came third. Who's the Cofidis sprinter? Is that Viviani? Is he still in the race? Benji with the €2 says Sagan had a sprint mid-mechanical. Guillaume Martin moves into third position on overall GC. It was Laporte, the Cofidis rider, because Pogacar loses time on GC. But it's 1:13 in the morning here. I'll preview the next stage in the podcast. I'm going to go and record that now with Benji Nyson. Thanks for joining the stream, everybody. That was one of the most exciting stages we've had. Maybe this tour. That was really, really exciting. So make sure, if you want to support the channel, really, the support of the podcast will go a long way. So ratings on the Apple Podcast helps a lot. And yeah, if you like them, listen to them. See you tomorrow, guys. Is tomorrow a good stage? I don't know. Follow me on Instagram and I'll tell you tomorrow whether I'm going to stream. I probably